Morning, everyone. Calling the November 5th, 2018 Personnel and Finance meeting to order. First up, we need to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Mark.
We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Next up, we have item 3, which would be public comment. Yes, sir. We have special business under public comment right now. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce two of our new employees. So I'll start first with Cecilia Anderson. She starts today as our new Director of Finance. Cecilia? Cecilia comes our way. Our last stop was with the state, overseeing a unit that was in charge of all the finances associated with MDOT and Act 51. Before that, Star Commonwealth and some CPA firms, including Raymond. So I wanted her to welcome here. Please say hello.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here, and I'm ready to get started. So, thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you, Cecilia. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Lydia Sattler. She's starting today as our Director of the Animal Shelter and the Animal Control Operations. Lydia?
Okay. Hi there. Thank you for letting me come here and talk to you today, and I'm really excited to start working for the county and represent the community that I live in. So thank you for this great opportunity. A little bit about my background. I have been a previous shelter director in the South, which is a very difficult place for animals, as you probably know. But the last 9 years I've been working for the National Humane Society as a state director and also as a shelter outreach manager. So I'm looking forward to coming back home and just working in my own community instead of traveling all over the country. So thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, we're on to item 4, committee items. 4A is the minutes from October 8th. I need a motion and support to approve the minutes if they're in order.
Support.
Have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Thank you. 4B, Department on Aging, budget adjustment. Welcome, Marcy.
Hey, good morning. Budget adjustments reflect additional grant funds that we weren't anticipating and also some changes in expenses. So it is a net decrease of $30,400, which would reduce the transfer from senior millage into general fund by that amount. So I just wondered if there were any questions about any of the changes?
Questions, board, or discussion? Okay, we need a motion support to send this to the full board. We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, 4C, our IT department. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for your time again this morning. I wanted to just ask if anyone has any questions from the study session proposal.
Which one are we actually going with?
That's a good question. So we're still kind of fine tuning and tweaking everything that we need. So there's some things that will go away and some things that will change.
So basically, are you asking for an up to amount then, or what? I guess I don't even know. I mean, I see it says approval to enter a master lease agreement, but don't we need to put a number on it, or what?
So the master lease agreement for the Dow Financial Services is basically a one-time thing that just allows us to finance the 3-time payment for them, through them. We would never have to sign that again. In our capital funds budgeted, we're 1.5 million. So that's the number we're working with.
Okay.
M2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The number that you're looking at has a different number, and that's why we're
Right. That's why I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
No.
Is there a disconnect?
Some of the things,
okay.
just to give you an example, are in that proposal, there are 3 months of on-site support, which we do not need. So that will take the cost down. I did ask them if they could prepare a detailed line item, and they will, and if you want it, let me know.
The bullet pointed, like I asked you for, and I appreciate you sending the email of the, during study session as well.
The concern that they had with that was that the proposal includes very detailed specifications of like part numbers for a cable or part numbers for a screw and just things like that.
Carol, you gotta have anything? Okay,
I would move the motion as requested to the full board.
Thank you.
we have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you, have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, Rick, he's faster than my computer fingers. Hey, we're talking about the Rise Above Services lease.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. In front of you, we have a staff report for the lease renewal for the Rise Above Services at 936 Fleming Street.
Discussion, Carl?
I've had an opportunity to go out there several times, and this is an awesome thing that Jackson County is doing. And it's an awesome operation out there, helping young people. And so I certainly will move to support this.
Support.
Great, all right. We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Guess that's it. No, you got another one here. Yeah, okay. Building control system for the JDOT main campus.
Thank you, sir. With this one, it's part of the HVAC upgrades that we're doing countywide in a number of our buildings, changing from antiquated systems to digital control. This way we can adjust heating and cooling remotely. It makes it a lot easier for all of our techs, because this way, well, most of our complaints are too hot, too cold. So this is why we've switched to this system. It's non-proprietary, meaning we can buy parts off the shelves at any of our suppliers. We've used it here in the Tower Building, we've used it at the North Lawn Building, and we had scheduled it for several of our other buildings, but we had to put that off until 2019. So.
We have a motion support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Rick. Next up, we have item 4F,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
full work for the morgue.
With this one, I combined both into one staff report with the low bid of Hearst Electric of Jackson, Michigan, and the low bid from Applegate of Jackson, Michigan for the mechanical work. And this is really our last piece of the puzzle for the morgue. With my fingers crossed, yes.
I would move the approval of the low bids for mechanical to Applegate and electrical work to Hearst Electric for the morgue.
Second.
Support?
We have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Thank you. Glad to see these are local people. Race.
Either for the personnel chair or the administrator. We're adding these two together, I take it, because we have 52 and 88 too, which puts us over to 75,000. Does that mean it has to go to the full board? Because we didn't send it to the full board.
It
But
says our
the 88,000 one goes to the full board.
So just the one goes. This is one motion, though.
As long as it goes to the full board, we're all set, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my thinking on that was that since the one bid was over the amount, we might as well take both of them to the full board. That was my thinking.
I think the problem was I didn't say full board. Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, folks.
Next up, 4G, our financial department, we have budget adjustments.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, committee members, we're asking for your approval on budget amendments for the general fund, 9/11 service fund, child care and airport fund. For the general fund, it's an increase to revenue and expense of $264,243. The 9/11 service fund is just a reallocation of expenses within the fund, no additional net increase or decrease. Child care fund increase $120,883, and a small increase to the airport fund of $3,600. Thank you.
Discussion.
For the child care fund, that's an increase in, we're transferring that from general fund to the child care fund?
No.
I don't get it.
No, there was some
That's
additional revenue within the child care fund.
revenue.
Yeah. So we're using additional revenue there, mainly from boarding revenue, to cover certain expenses within the fund. So there's no increase appropriation of the general fund. We already did that a while back. We gave them an extra $100,000.
Well, I know we did that once, but I know how things roll sometimes, so that's why I was just clarifying, because I can't, just by looking at your little blue thing, I can't tell what that is. Because it was named at the top, I didn't see it at the same time, on the same screen. Thanks. Support.
We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. We go to 4H, selection of an audit firm.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're recommending that the auditing firm of Raymond be retained to perform the county's audit for another year. The county has a policy where we recommend a rotation of audit firms if they have audited the books for 5 consecutive years. However, because we merged in the Road Commission as a county department, Raymond has only audited the county books itself for 4 consecutive years. They've audited the JCDOT for more than that. So the question would be technically, does our 5-year rule come into play or not? And I'm saying it doesn't. Or further, if it does, I'm asking for a waiver of that policy to allow them to perform the audit 1 more year. And the reason for this, as detailed in the memo, is that due to the personnel changes within the finance department, we feel it's better that we retain an auditing firm that's more familiar with their operations and so forth. A little additional plus here is that Raymond is also auditing the medical care facility again this year, so should be better coordination between that audit and our audit, because we incorporate certain numbers from their audit into our report as well.
So can you tell me how many years we've been at the medical care facility with this firm and how many at JDOT?
Okay, for medical care, this is the 2nd year that they've audited medical care. As far as JCDOT, I don't have that answer. It's more than 5. Traditionally, Raymond had the expertise and probably audited at least a dozen road commissions in the state and so forth.
Discussion? Carl?
I'd just say, sound like you're, obviously being a finance director, you're very good with numbers, and you did a good job of making 5 into a 4, so I would move that we send this to the full board.
Support.
Have a motion support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Moving on to 4I, our September 2018 financial report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for the months that it's ending September, Our budget benchmark is 75%. We're three-quarters of the way through the fiscal year already. Our year-to-date expenditure total is 74.6, so we're just below that. The three-year prior average is 74.3, so we're a little bit above that. On the revenue side, the year-to-date revenue is 69.3, and our historical trend for the 3 years is 69.7, so we're slightly below that, but we're still within the targets year-to-date. Okay. Thank you.
I just have a question. So, and it's just like a grammar thing. It's under allowable expenses. It's on the first page under 1. It's A. It says air, train, comma, just travel. So, do we? Well, it was funny that you have motor coach scratched out and you just have travel. Like, I guess it doesn't make sense to me. Air, train, and travel, like, do you really need travel in there? Do you just want air and train? That's what I would just scratch travel out of there and take off that comma.
Cars too for that.
Right. So maybe instead of put motor coach, put, personal and or, county vehicle? Okay. Be amended, so do you want a motion to move it to the full board, or is it just gonna be there?
Please.
I'd move the policy to 5070 to the full board.
We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Item 4K, Administrator Controller, it's our firearm policy, number 3315. So you've read it all? So.
Any questions?
I do. I mean, I'm aware of this because I actually had been going to the courthouse security meetings, and this is just, this little red line just adds in the part that is actually a recommendation from the state court administrative offices for the courthouse itself. And just so people know, I mean, I think it would be good maybe to insert, I personally would just like to see the policy inserted in there, not just named, just as a footnote maybe. So that would be my only request, just so people understand where that portion of the policy comes from, because obviously we don't prohibit people from carrying guns, if they sign if they're in compliance with the rest of this policy, except for this spot because of, basically state court administrative offices and the chief judges right now, so it could change. So I just would like it footnoted in the policy itself. It actually, their new policy spelled out, that 5180 maybe. I don't know. I just would like to see it there for easy reference. Well, yeah, because you're saying that it's not prohibited.
Well, if they
but-
change 5180, this policy still applies without us having to change this policy. But if we put the language of 5180 in this policy and they change 5180, then I got to change this policy too and bring it back to the full board.
Okay, I got it.
Thanks.
Oh, I would move the policy 3315 to the full board. I just wanted to double check and see if you made the changes that I had recommended during study session, as far as the committees go and where they were put. And it doesn't look like they were. So Michigan Works, I would recommend be under Human Services instead of General Government, and then I would think Parks and Fair would go under General Government. The changes I mentioned in study session, they're not done. And like, I think that's it. Because it makes more sense, especially.
No, we agree, we all, I'm not gonna.
Well, I would move it to the full board with the changes that I asked for in study session. Oh, yeah, I moved it to the full board with the changes.
Mr. Chairman? Could I have the motion, please? Sarah?
The motion is to move the reorganization of board rules of policy 4070 with the changes being that Michigan Works Southeast be under the Human Services Board, and then that the Fair and Parks be under General Government.
Just wanted to understand the motion.
Aye. Mr. Chair, as part of Fair Board, I'm in support of this and moving the current motion as requested by Administrator Overton for the 11-member Parks Board with 3 county commissioner appointments, 8 at-large appointments, and 3 of the board members also being appointees of the Fair Board.
We need to pay the claims? All in favor, motion support, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, those opposed the same. Our bills will be paid. There's no other minutes to review. The December reporting schedule, last I seen was blank. So we return to public comment. Any public comment? Okay, committee member comment. Okay, no comment, meeting adjourned. Thank you, board.